All right, we are live. I have with the beautiful essential goddess herself, Lisa. Welcome. I could not wait to get my hands on you and get this interview created for the world to see who and what you are doing behind the scenes with your amazing work. For most of you guys, you all know me by now, but this is Lisa, and she is, I will call her a shaman. I will call her a shaman. And she's like, what? No, trust me. There's a lot of things I see that I don't tell you about in our mentor sessions, but she's a Tika student of ours, but she is a master teacher, and she is a chemist in her own mind. She's a scientist. So we're two nerdy blondes sitting here today going to talk about quantum biology and the science about frequency and vibration and how we're going to be utilizing her magic and her talent in the Quantum Revolution Tour. And I'll just give you a little bit of backstory of why I kind of have recruited her onto the team here. The backstory of this tour is about really allowing so much of the presence of who we are to be brought forth in a way where we're not bringing who we've been and what we've been from the past into our future moment, where we can really create a new blueprint of that perfection of who we always have been. And so in order for us to do that, we have to really hack the matrix. And the matrix is a byproduct of the patterns. It's the byproduct of the programs that we've all been indoctrinated into throughout our lives, not being good enough, not being talented enough, not being smart enough, not being pretty enough, not being rich enough. We've heard the word no a lot in our lifetime, and that is in a collective place in our cellular memory, even down to our atomic structure. That is that those stories are being held. And in order for us to really activate the DNA that is waiting inside of you, it can't have any of those programs running. We can't buy brand new furniture in a house that's too cluttered. We've got to create space. And so getting ready for this tour, I've had, everybody who's going to be there with us kind of purging out their realities as far as fasting, emotional fasting, really diving down deep inside, becoming the alchemist and purifying, the old programs, and how we are doing that is through a step-by-step process. But on the tour itself, how we're going to be doing that is we're going to be kind of sensory overloading you guys with new frequencies so that you don't get distracted by the old frequencies of the past. And what I mean when I say that is everything in your reality is constantly in a state of co-creation with you. The way everything smells, the way things taste, the people around you, the stories around you, the news around you, the nature around you, everything has a restimulation process to it, which means you associate who you are based in your environment. And your environment is constantly reminding you of the stories that you're projecting outward. So if we're going to find a way for our souls to tell new stories, we have to kind of interrupt all of those programs. We have to change the signals coming in for the sight, for the touch, for the smell, for the feeling. And so for the tour, we have created kind of a sensory glitch so that you can be in this present moment and all of your senses are focused in this present moment. And how we're going to be doing that is with sound, with light, with texture, with taste, and with smell. And as we bring all of those elements together, you will be in this perpetual state of this highest frequency that the human body can emit in itself, which is the gamma frequency, working with the gamma and the theta energy. And how to maintain that, we actually have to create this new whole world for the senses to embody themselves in. So as I was kind of creating this tour, we've got the sounds, we've got the light, we've got the dance, we've got the texture, we've got the taste. And then I'm thinking, where is that smell? Where is that frequency? And I'm going, who do we have? And of course, Lisa, she jumps into my mind. She's been a student, but she's so much of a teacher to me as well. And she has taught me so much about the frequencies of essential oils and just her journey through her own concoction and mixing, and it's her highest excitement, it's her highest joy. And I knew that she was the perfect component because both her and her husband are already coming to the tour as the perfect example of an enlightened couple, which we're going to hear more from. And I just wanted you to kind of introduce yourself to this community and, you know, tell a little bit about your story. And then I'm going to get to the questions. So Lisa, thank you so much for being here. We are twinsies today, by the way, moonshine in a teacup, right? Quantum goddesses.
Totally, I love it.
Because we're winning, right?
Yes. Absolutely.
So welcome, Lisa.
Thank you, Jessica, so much. Oh my gosh, such nice things you say. Oh my gosh. Okay, so yeah, I'm Lisa McCullough, and I am an essential oil magic creation goddess. And I love playing with crystals and oils together. It's my highest joy. And through my mentorship with Jessica, I really found that really is my highest joy, is creating these amazing magical potions. And I call them potions because they're seriously potions, and has really helped me in my life up level and just really help dissolve blockages and dissolve, limiting beliefs that are really holding me back. Obviously I work on that every single day and continue that with the oils and the crystals and everything else that I'm doing. But that's what I'm about. I live out here in Washington State and on the West Coast, and just kind of a farm girl, but then kind of I'd say high vibe farm girl, because I'm totally into all the crystals and everything else, but then I go out and take care of chickens and horses as well. Mm-hmm. I have a couple boys.
Like I said, you're a shaman. Yes, just own it.
Okay, yay. Yes. I work with the oils with the animals as well, with people and helping them, dissolve situations and emotional stuff coming up. But that's what I'm about. My husband and I, we've been married for 30 years, and we use the oils together. It's amazing. It completely up levels the relationship tenfold when you start getting into these higher vibrations, the frequencies of the oils lifting up your frequency. And so I'm really excited to share all of this with everybody, on how the oils can really shift you into the vibration and the frequency that Jessica is going to take us into. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
So, but you do some, I mean, I know that you work with doTERRA. That is kind of your, that is the company that you're working with, but you do some special things with oils. You kind of like, you've kind of gone pioneer style with this, and you add some elements of crystals in with your tinctures as well.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about how you do that.
Okay, so exactly. So I work with doTERRA. I found that these oils in particular are just the highest frequency. You can feel the difference. And so I want completely pure, unadulterated, like high vibe frequency oils. And so that's what I work with. And in doing so, I really work with the emotions that these oils are going to affect. Okay, so what they're going to do in the brain, right? When they go through, hit the limbic system, and then trigger the different hormones to be released. I look at that and then formulate these together, the oils together, into tinctures or potions, blends that are going to give you that specific state of being. And then marry crystals in with that. So looking at the energetic properties, the spiritual properties, the metaphysical properties of the crystals, and marrying those with the same energetic or frequencies that the oils are going to bring about in the body. And so it creates a powerful potion to literally change your state of being. Yes. And it's really incredible.
Right.
And they're just
we're like so geeking out right now.
I know.
The cool thing to understand about ourselves is we are physical, emotional, and chemical. Yes. And this identification of the principles the yogis call, the body, mind, soul, or I call me, myself, and I, however you want to say it, there's kind of this angular consciousness within us. And if we can activate with the same frequency in a unified principle way, we can bring the unity of ourselves together in the most magical way possible. And that's really what these 3-day tours are about, because everything is 369 in the universe. So when we're adding these principles together and we realize, well, there's 3 of us, right? And there's 3, me, myself, and I, and the body, mind, soul. And how do I bring each of those aspects to the table? How do I bring each of those aspects inside of myself so that I can really expand? Because that's really what expansion and enlightenment is this turning inwardly, digging for the gold, like an alchemist, and finding the diamond inside. So what activates the diamond? What activates the DNA? And that has to be done through a chemical emotional component, because we communicate with ourselves through hormones. Mm-hmm. And hormones is the communicator to let you know what state of being you're running. You know, do you feel good? Do you feel bad? I mean, that's why addiction, we just got done talking about addiction in our Artika class this morning. We're addicted because we want to create the hormones that makes us feel at ease.
Yeah.
And so by using the oils and the crystal compounds that Lisa is creating specifically for the Quantum Revolution Tour, that are going to go hand in hand with the activation principles that I have in line, which I've already sent her, and she's been working on in the lab, is all about, it's all about securing the frequencies. So as we're doing an activation with sound and with light, you're also experiencing the essential oil or the nature quality or the shamanic element of the core being of ourselves in the audience. So she's creating these blends that will actually be misted throughout the course of the weekend in different synchronicity points at different activation points that will just be so amazing for the mind, body, soul, and it will help the chemical component. Because again, you know, if think about your grandmother's chocolate chip cookies that she used to bake, you immediately go into that place, right? Or, you know, your husband's cologne or whatever it is, you go into the feeling of that. But see, smell is not just smell. It is a chemical compound that affects all of your organs, all of your cellular memory. Smell is the time travel unit, the same as music. Because when you hear a song, you're right back in junior high. When you smell grandma's cookies, you're right back in the kitchen. So we're going to be using the components of the oil blends to time travel us into the state of being of our activated DNA through the celebration process. So what are you cooking up for us, Lisa?
Oh my gosh. Yes, and that's what I call like triggers. So these oils, creating these blends in a specific way so that they will, with the different oils that have different frequency levels that work on a specific hormone release, okay? And so for, let's say like the me, myself, and I, taking us back into, or taking us into that DNA activation as we're inhaling and taking in aromatically this blend, it's going to trigger the brain to release specific hormones into the body, you know, serotonin, you know, whatever it is that is needed for that particular DNA activation. It's going to trigger that to go to release. And so you're going to have that cellular memory there of that DNA activation, what went on, the smell, which is a trigger to take you back to that specific state of being during that activation. So even ongoing, this particular like blend, right, yes, is going to take you back to that DNA activation and remind the body that, oh, okay, we're taking this in aromatically. It goes through the olfactory system. It hits the limbic system of the brain. It triggers the chemicals to be released into the body, and you're right back there. Okay, this is the state of being I need to be in.
Exactly.
Frequency. So that's what I'm creating, is that blends that will do that will release specific hormones in the body as we're experiencing these DNA activations.
So it's actually, it's going to go perfect hand in hand. And it's going to be activating all of the centers. And when she was talking about taking you into the frequency of the DNA activation, it's a remembering process. Just like you remember grandma's cookies, mm-hmm. there is a sensation, a smell, a frequency that also reminds you of who and how to activate your own DNA. Because we've all ascended in the universe before. This is not something new. We're not here to learn, we're here to remember. So this helps us put ourselves back together. And for me, okay, I've got 3 days, I'm a scientist, let's get quantum. How can we do this in an accelerated fashion, but also keep the frequency going after the tour? That was my biggest fear, is I don't want to get people into a state of oxytocin for 3 days and then drop them down into depression because the tour is over. I want to keep their frequencies stabilized, which is why we've created music that is embedded frequencies that is of the tour, so that when you listen to it, you're right back in the frequencies. Lisa's creating the blends that you'll be able to get ordered from her and have them with you. So, just smelling something will take you right back into the gamma frequencies if you hit a dark night or a low patch afterwards, which hopefully you won't. But again, we're creating stabilization of this activation. So it's not just about activating you and then going, okay, go back to your laundry and bills. Let's send you home with the magic potion and the remembering process that keeps your DNA basically integrating and upgrading and sinking in, because the deeper it gets, the deeper it gets. We all know that we're layered creatures. So the first level of activation will be through intention and basically being present and actually accepting and receiving. But then after the tour, it's about living and doing and breathing and learning to remember even deeply more as that new state of being. So, the concept of the tour itself is kind of the remembrance of the true unity of self. And you are body, mind, soul. And the soul has been literally just in that jail cell waiting for this moment. And that ego has been that kind of faithful warden to keep you safe and comfortable and away from your highest joy and highest dreams, because it doesn't want to see you fail and it doesn't want to see you suffer. And then there's an inner child inside of you that's like, I don't care about this, I just want to play. And it's about healing all those aspects of ourselves and unlocking the potential, because there is a superhuman quality about the human DNA that is so multidimensional that if you actually uncoded the DNA itself, it would completely shock you how alien you actually are. And when you understand DNA itself, is that it has been turned off intentionally to keep us kind of sedentary and, in this minimal state of very ordinary existence. But that's not actually what the DNA was designed for. It was designed to ascend all the way back into a light body, which you've been seeing through time, the Tibetan monks doing, and our even our biblical states of being teach about all of this ascension process. But that's actually what our DNA was designed to do, was to continue to activate and continue to remember and continue to turn on. But when we're constantly bombarded by smells, touch, taste, sights, sounds of oppression, of slavery, of disassociation and rejection and abandonment, we continue to activate ourselves into submission. So what we're doing with this whole inclusive process, we've got this master sound DJ, dance spiritual teacher coming in from New York. We've got Helena, the quantum specialist. We've got Melanie, the ancient shamanic teacher from the past. And we've got Lisa, who is our kind of quantum scientist. It's blending all these amazing things together. And then I'm going to translate that. Basically, my job is to activate those frequencies and bring that all together. And it really does take all of us to be able to do that during this weekend. And I'm just so honored that you were so fast. I mean, I literally called Lisa like 2 days ago and I'm like, hey, I need you. Because as I went through the process of creating this tour, this was the missing piece. This is going to keep people out of comparison. This is going to keep people present. And this is going to allow people to download the rest of the frequency of gamma through that limbic system. Yeah. So I'm just so honored and so grateful that you're willing to step up and like have a week time to make all these blends. but I think that the magic always happens in those moments, right?
Yeah.
What are you actually concocting? Can you give us a little hint?
Well, sure, absolutely. So, okay, I have oh my gosh. So I have these amazing little rollers here. Okay, so they're rollers, and then I also have little sprayers. Okay, and so I'm taking the oils, the different properties of the oil. So a bunch of, the ones that I know are going to create a specific reaction, and then create a, and then in the future also keep that reaction going. Okay. Like one of my favorite oils to use is geranium. It is incredible. Okay.
Tell us about why.
Well, geranium is the oil of love and trust. And so it's going to help, people with nurturing their inner child. Okay. And it supports a reparenting this aspect of the self. And so it's really going to help in that aspect. Okay. And so then marrying that with also, like, let's say, ginger oil, which is the oil of empowerment. So you're nurturing the inner child with geranium, and then you're empowering her or him with ginger. Okay. And creating these together, and then taking the crystals that are going to also do the same thing, right?
Amplifiers, yes.
Amplifiers, they do. And what's really awesome is what I do is, okay, so I put the crystals within the oils. So we marry them in together, integrate them together. And then we're also rolling them onto our body through a crystal roller. So it's passing through the crystal, the energy of the crystal, every time you put that on as well. And it's just as simple as that, just rolling it on, smelling it, and it goes into the system within about 30 seconds. It's going to upgrade the frequency that you're in. So if you're in a lower frequency, you are having, like some negative thoughts or something like that, you can completely upgrade you can get yourself out of that negative thought pattern by using the oils, because the oils are of a high frequency. I mean, it's so fascinating how they work. And like the body normally resonates at about between 62 and 78 hertz or megahertz. But then if you're using essential oils to up level that, like rose essential oil is 320 megahertz.
Right.
So you're putting that high frequency onto the body and into the system, and it's going to upgrade. It's going to raise your vibration. It's going to immediately raise your frequency. And so you can get yourself out of that negative thought pattern, or that, feeling down, or some kind of a depression or something like that. It works so incredibly with the emotions, and it's awesome.
And that's really where we're going to be utilizing that part with the oils, is to help us get into the emotional state of being to move into receiving. Because the only reason why all of us are not activated and upgraded already is because we haven't received what is available to us. And the reason why is because when we're in a lower frequency, we cannot perceive of the higher frequencies. You can't be in fear and love at the same time. You cannot be in doubt and worry and, be in a state of possibilities at the same time. You are duality in existence. You have two eyes, but you have one focal point. So depending on what you're focusing on is what you're creating. And it's going to be about kind of us impacting all of the senses, the emotional state of being, the physical state of being, the soul state of being, the inner child state of being, the ego state of being, because the ego is the part of you that is kind of the unevolved, unawakened part of you. It is the one that hasn't got the memo that the ascension is in grand form, and it is kind of holding you accountable to the past, and holding you accountable to the programs, and holding you accountable to who you used to be. And we want on this tour and in this process, and for the rest of everyone's life, is to be able to kind of bring ego with us into the present moment, and allow ego to have an experience of love and healing and joy. And smell has a primal factor, because ego is driven by the material world, and the smell factor is connected to the primal brain as well, which is the reptilian brain back there that identifies with something being progressive or limitation, dangerous or helpful. It's like pheromones. And that pheromones work on not a conscious level and not an unconscious level, but a completely subconscious and superconscious level. So we're going to be able to activate all levels of our consciousness, having each of these components all in one room, all happening at the same time. And that's how we're going to be able to override and disconnect and delete old programming while creating the new frequency.
Yes. So like, this is what is so awesome, because like, let's say wild orange, which is one of my favorite oils, okay? It's the oil of abundance. And what I use wild orange for is to also dissolve old limiting money beliefs. So it works amazing to help dissolve those beliefs. So we'll have that in some of the blends, so that as we're there, we're dissolving limiting beliefs, we're getting them completely out, like you were saying, and being in that present moment of abundance. And then the smells of the different oils are going to just keep us right there in that state during the activation. It's going to be amazing. Just everybody's frequency.
It's like literally, you pay the big bucks to go into the movie theaters now that have the moving chairs and the smell thrown at you and the 3D screen. And the reason why you pay those big bucks to go see those movies is because you have more of an integrated experience.
Yeah.
And the more of an integrated experience that your body has, the more it believes it. Because if your body doesn't actually go on the ride with you, that's why a lot of the spiritual training doesn't stick, is because your body's not going on that ride with you. But if you had sound and smell and touch and visceral connections, your body would immediately accept the new frequency and disregard the old, because the universe has a principal law called the law of vacuum. If the cup is full, there is nothing that can be received, right? But if we empty the cup, then we are this empty vessel, and now we're in the state of receiving. And we're going to be working that first night to kind of empty the cup. Empty the cup, getting the heart open, getting the body to receive, getting the frequencies of receiving. We're going to be in this beautiful rose quartz circular space. And I know you've got probably something cooked up for that night.
Yeah. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. Okay. So I know exactly what we're going to do on that first night. We're going to dissolve all of those limiting beliefs. We're going to dissolve that with specific oils and crystals that will help dissolve that, and then put us in a state of receiving and abundance, and do that with oils as well. So I'm so excited about this. And we can do diffusion too.
Yeah.
I'll bring a bunch of diffusers.
Yeah. And we got a ton of them too. I mean, I think it's just, and that's what we're going to be doing, is we're going to be specifically with the timing of the events, we're going to be activating the principles with the different sounds, the different lighting. Helena will have her, the miracle there, which is the frequency that is going to basically keep the whole entire city, even though we think it's just going to be the hotel, the devices that she's going to bring are going to affect the whole city as well. And, we are such influential beings that our mood and our attitude are constantly shifting between the vibration of the room, of the person sitting next to us. We're social creatures. And so how you're feeling over here is going to affect me. So if we can create one unified feeling, and we can all move into that state of abundance or unconditional or freedom, and the person sitting next to me is feeling the exact same thing, then I become like a tuning fork, and the room becomes like a tuning fork, and the hotel becomes like a tuning fork, and the town becomes a tuning fork. And that vibration can be like a shock wave that can move out. And that is the whole purpose of this activation, is not just activating the human DNA, but the mindset around that. We're not here to fix ourselves. We're here to celebrate who we've always been. And the more we celebrate as a culture, and the more we celebrate with these oils, and the more we celebrate what we have in our hand, it's like every bit of medicine and technology and understanding of how to clean up this huge mess is literally in the palm of our hands. And I know that you have just got a chance to walk gold at doTERRA across the stage, yes?
Yes.
And you know, you were telling me behind the scenes in our mentor session, you know, that doTERRA is now opening wellness centers. And so it's like this old shamanic knowledge that the planet herself is the healer, that everything inside of her has, you know, down to her flower essences and her oils and her everything that she has is designed. And now these old shamans are coming back around through incarnation, remembering how to do all of these things and opening wellness centers where people are treated first with oils, exactly. Right?
Yes, but
like, this is the world changing.
It's incredible. It's literally hacking the system. It's incredible. Yeah, by actual, you know, MDs, medical doctors, you know, PhD surgeons, and all of, you know, they're going to be medical centers who are actually going to be treating people first with natural medicine, and integrating it with, you know, the modern medicine that is, you know, out there that we need to save our lives sometimes. But they're looking at, they're changing the healthcare in this country and across the world, because we're moving into more of a natural approach, and they're bringing that mainstream. It's always been, you know, just the shamanic stuff that's not in mainstream, and that's kind of woo woo and weird. But now it's literally going mainstream, because yeah, we have 4 medical centers opening in 2019. So very, very exciting.
And this is just a sign that the times are changing. Yes. And the 100 monkey effect is working, because the more mainstream and trendy we can create, the more awakening that can happen. Because when more people are treating, you know, their kids with natural medicine and meditation and self-reflection and emotional work, then the more we realize that I am doctor, I am healer, I am shaman, I am guru, and it's all inside of this toolbox. And discovering that you can heal yourself is probably one of the safest places that you could ever be in your mind. You know, I haven't gone to a medical doctor in 15 years. And I realize that anytime something goes out of alignment with my body, I just need to have a conversation with it, because it's a message. It's a frequency. So I'm not necessarily a shadow hunter, I'm a frequency hunter. You know, where's the frequency that is kind of out of alignment with my heart's desire, and reflect on that. But to reflect on that, I have to be present. I can't be completely bombarded by the influential smell and taste and sound and memory of the past, because if I stay in that place, I can never remember who I am. So I'm just so grateful that you decided to pop online with such short notice with me and do this interview and let the world know who you are. I think you're amazing. I think you're ready to just blow up and step into your own power. And I think that having you as part of the tour is just the perfect puzzle piece. And bringing all of these amazing, powerful women together to create this nurturing yet very, very healing masculine energy that we're going to be bringing into this tour, and basically rocking out and celebrating through intentional frequency and vibration work who we are underneath, because that will literally destroy the filters and the programs of what we never were. And that's really what this is. It's an unlearning process, and it's a remembering process. So I just wanted to thank you so much for being here. Is there anything else you want to share? How can they find you? Because I know that everyone's going to be geeking out to find your site. And do you do custom blends? Let me ask you that.
Yes, I definitely do custom blends. That's kind of my jam. And so yeah, I totally do custom blends. I do a couple different really fun blends. Like, I'm really into helping women raise their sexual energy. They can be like magnetic all the time, walking in that magnetic energy. So definitely custom blends. Like, they're fantastically amazing. A couple of the ladies have that might even be on here. That's how I met them, is get them getting blends from me. So they can certainly do that, and can go to my website. I don't have any links up at this point for this stuff, because it just happened.
I pushed you out of the nest. I was like, you're doing this.
I'm like, fear is coming.
You have a Facebook Facebook page. Yes, so they can find you on Facebook.
Facebook page, The Essential Goddess, and then Lisa McCullough. Send me a friend request. And then my website is essentialgoddess.com, and you can find my stuff on there. And I will put up a tab for all of this amazing quantum stuff. So.
Yes. And I know she's still blending right now, so she probably doesn't have any of the quantum blends finished. Yeah. But I'm sure after the tour, even if you guys couldn't make it, you know, just getting the music, and we're going to create a documentary out of this, and then being able to have the blends, it will be like you're right there with us. Lisa doesn't know this, but I plan to drag her on every tour now. So, but we'll see. Yes, I'm saying yes to you. Like, you have to come.
I'm up for it, man.
I know you are. You were born for this. You were born for it. And your highest excitement and your passion is just so expressed through your work. And, you know, it's like when you eat any great meal and someone's like, how did you make this? It's like the love that you put into it. So the missing ingredient in all of you guys' work that you think, well, how is mine going to be different than theirs, is literally the essence of who you are that you're putting into your work. So whether you're blending oils, or you're making music, or you're writing books, just remember that just because everybody else, you know, may be doing kind of the same thing in their realities, you're putting the essence of who you are. It's like you're mixing the love in, and that's going to make it the most potent frequency that you could ever have. And that's what I love about Lisa, is this is her whole heart. This is her whole purpose, is to heal through this understanding expansion. And she's just as nerdy and geeky as I am. So twins here, sisters here, and I would love to have you on probably after the tour to talk about how you actually came up with the blends, because I know you're channeling a lot of this. So, exactly. And we'll leave you to that. But yeah, anything else you want to add?
I just do. Oh, I don't even know where I do this little. I write the stuff, right? I'm like, okay, 140 frequency of 140, a frequency of 105, and then I'm like, okay, emotions that it's going to deal with, blah, 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 and then I put them together. So yeah, I'm totally channeling them, and that's how I do the custom blends as well. And I just do it. I don't know. It just comes. I'm like, okay, goddess, let's make this perfect. And I like try and tap into whoever I'm making that blend for, try and tap into her energy. And I'm just like, okay, what is she needing right now? What support is she needing? How emotionally can I uplift her with this? And then I just make it, and it's awesome. Yeah. So let's see. I was going to say something else. Yeah, I don't have the blends all completely done yet, because I'm in the middle of making them. So, but I'm doing frequencies of like time, money, relationships, health.
Perfect.
And then frequencies of me, myself, and I. And so they're going to be literally, and I haven't completed all of them, so I don't have any info on that yet. I'll have those done this weekend. So that'll be exciting. And then I'll put a link up on my website, so you can even like maybe look at them and that kind of thing. So
I love it. Yeah. Well, I appreciate you for diving into this project. And this is literally like, this just really completes the frequency connection that we were looking for to amplify the expansion of human consciousness. So again, I appreciate you. And you guys look for her, because I'm also going to push her into becoming like well-known relationships expert that she actually is. You know, she has this amazing relationship with her husband, and you know what it is to be a conscious woman and going on in a marriage with a man that's also on his journey, and what their life looks like. And so, you know, Lisa is one of these amazing women that is literally walking her talk. And it doesn't mean that we've got it all figured out yet, or that we're all perfect yet, but she is walking her talk, and she is living what she teaches. And I'm super inspired by you. I'm going to get emotional. And I was so happy to reconnect with you, because I know we're old friends in the ethers, and do this project together with you, and see you on the tour, and meet your amazing, gorgeous husband, and just allow you to shine and share who you are. So you guys, can't wait for you to join us in Miami. There's still a couple of tickets left. If you need to be there, I recommend that you get there. Figure out how later, just get there. And because this is kind of our newborn grand planetary activation. So we're going to be literally activating the planet, creating a vortex for all of the rest of these events around the planet. And I'm getting coordinates on where we're going to be next, and I'll be releasing those dates soon. So just stay tuned. Join us in Miami. Join us in Thailand, and we can't wait to see you guys all there. So thank you again, Lisa, for joining me this morning, and we will connect soon. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you for having me.
All right, let's see how I end this. Where's my IT man? I think I'm just going to end it right here. Okay. I'll see you soon.